All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Doc Severson with ReadySetCrypto. Today is Wednesday, the 14th of August in 2024, and welcome to month 4 of your Bitcoin and crypto consolidation in the middle of what I think is going to be a bigger swing to the upside. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I'd love to know where you guys are accessing this live stream from. So let me know where you're coming in from, and we'll get around to some coin pairs later on. So we'll get into your request in just a couple of minutes. We'll be here for about the next half hour, depending on the conversation. We could be here 15 minutes. We could be here 30 minutes. It's really up to you and what you want to drive this show to be. Again, my name is Doc. I'm with ReadySetCrypto. We've been here doing this since the beginning of 2018. So a little over 6 years doing this. So we've seen a lot during that time. Okay, I'm going to get into the middle here and start looking at charts. Park myself down in the lower left-hand corner. We have checking in today, Seb RZ. And let's see, Seb is coming in from Florida. We have Ahmed from Virginia. We have John coming in from London. And Seb, you have been here since 2018. And Maff is coming in from Edmonds, Washington. I'm going to be heading out to Washington State in about a month or so to attend a little service. Going to be hooking up with Mav out there as well, too. T. Butterman coming in from Indonesia. Thank you very much for accessing here. And Easier Than You Think is checking in from London as well, too. I really, really miss London. Can't wait to come back to London. When am I coming to Tampa, Florida? I was hoping to do that real soon because my daughter was bidding on a house. And unfortunately, it looks like that is going to fall through. So failed inspection, and it just got to be really, really ugly. So, but I was going to come down and do, the dad thing with painting and, fixing up walls and doing what dads do. So, Jane coming in from Redwood City. That's one of my favorite places. I worked at a company in Redwood City, and I used to go out there every week. So I wonder if Bucks at Woodside is still there. That's where all the deals were struck, at Bucks at Woodside. All right. So guys, let me talk about Bitcoin for a couple of minutes as you guys all check in and make yourself at home here. So we've been in this pattern now since really the beginning of March. So what's that, 5 months? 5 months in this. And this is actually working out perfectly because what I found is for the biggest moves that you will see in the market, they all come from a position of complete and total apathy. Remember, we did the same thing. We had the same thing going on in 2023. We had this pattern here going from, I'd say about April, you could say March, until October before this thing blew up. So we've been there before. We've seen this before. When everybody gives up on this is typically when the train leaves the station. The other thing to notice too is that the red and green lines represent the 50 and the 200-day moving average. And this is called a death cross when the shorter term moving average in red crosses under the longer term moving average in green, the 200. So the 50 and 200 are typically used for this. What I found is that during a primary move, especially one coming off the bottom, this is where we typically see false signals, false death crosses. Notice that this turned into a golden cross not long after that. trapped all the shorts that went short at this point, thinking that they had it made. And we can go back in time and look at all these other ones. Now, of course, back here in, let's see, this was January of 22, we actually did have a death cross, but that was no surprise because the price was already making lower highs and lower lows and looking really, really ugly after just printing new highs. So when you print all-time new highs and a big thrust to there, if you get a death cross after that, probably makes more sense to pay attention to that. So what are we seeing today? Today, there we go. There's our death cross. Oh no, right? And it coincided with one of the worst fear spikes that we've had in the market, in the financial markets in the last 40 years. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but last Monday was the fourth largest spike of fear in the financial markets since the 1980s. So during that time, we've had four major ones, and those are like the pandemic was one of them. We had obviously the great financial crisis. We had the 1987 Black Monday in October of 1987, and this was number 4. This little move that we had have got people freaked out from the Japanese carry trade that happened. So when you see markets double down in terms of fear, normally the price will climb the wall of worry. And so let's see, who else has checked in here? Jacob coming in from the Czech Republic. Jane. Bucks alive and well. That's great. Bucks at Woodside. I still have the business card from Bucks at Woodside when I was out there. That was back in the days when I was part of the IPO tech in late 90s and everything. That was, if you had a .com after your company name, you're guaranteed of, millions of dollars. Let's see, who else is out there? Chuck Brett from Brooklyn. All right, outstanding. Okay, so what I'm looking at right now is what we call a little bit of a Darvas box. This is a Darvas box. So this is a decision box. Goes from about 58 up to 63. So it's pretty big $5,000 decision box here. We can see it break out from here. That would make sense. We're seeing some coins like Toncoin today is breaking out above there. However, we could also see this break to the downside. Imagine the disappointment if Bitcoin were to break to the downside. And remember, guys, more so than any other bull market that I've seen, this is a very, very top-heavy market. It's a very top-heavy market. Really, just about any altcoin that we're going to look at today is mired in a nasty, nasty weekly downtrend, right? So it's probably not going to be worth our time to look at most of these altcoins because they're going to be just terrible. The further we go on with crypto, the more discerning the market will be. Remember back in 2017 where everything was going higher, everything. If you could fog a mirror and had an ICO, your coin was going higher. In 21 and 22, most everything went higher. Not all, but most things went higher, or at least got a little bit of a spike to that. So far, nada. Occasionally, we'll have some Solana-based altcoins making a move in today's market, but most of the gains, most of everything has been focused on the top 5. And so what we're seeing is the Bitcoin dominance is still huge. So until this breaks this trend line, this yellow trend line in Bitcoin dominance, it's really not worth your time to go trying to pick the bottom of these things. Wait until your asset starts making higher highs and higher lows. Okay. So back to Bitcoin just for a second here. Let me finish my thought and then we'll get into some of your requests. What I'm thinking of is the obvious thing from this consolidation is a breakout to the upside. Get above the 50-day moving average in red, get above the 200-day moving average in green, break, and then, who knows, maybe we'll break above 73,000 this time. However, what I'd almost like to see is markets move towards the pain. If too many people are expecting a break, what we will see instead is based on some kind of exogenous event, some kind of data point that comes in over the next couple of weeks, we'll actually see this break to the downside first. And remember, I said this back here. I was telling our newsletter subscribers back here, I was like, I don't think this is going to break higher. I think this is going to break lower, in fact, because everybody's expecting this to break to the upside. They're thinking this is the one. Markets love to take one step back to take two steps forward. They love to get everybody on the wrong side of the boat, swing the boom over, knock them all off on board, overboard. So what I'm almost expecting is in the near future that we may break to the downside from this pattern, cause huge disappointment, right? This is going to be the liquidation point for a lot of people where they just say, I can't even, right? If it breaks to the downside of that, I am unable to even, and I quit. You're going to see so many people do that. Right now, the buzz on crypto is almost at a historic low with everything else that's going on, with all the ETFs that are getting approved, with potentially Gary Gensler getting the yank, and, you know, all of a sudden opening up all kinds of assets coming into this space. We could see this thing break to the downside and people quit. I think this could set up, and I put this in quotes because I'm not here to predict the future, but I think this could set up the eventual break to the upside. Now, if we go out to the monthly chart, and I apologize if I'm taking a lot of time on this, but I think this is really, really important, because as goes Bitcoin, so goes the rest of the market. So if this is able to bust a hole and get attention into crypto again, you're going to see all of a sudden the alts fire up. And I believe this is a great looking pattern. This looks really good. This is a nice flag. If we see this thing do one more shot to the downside, I think this slingshot that comes from here will catch a lot of people off guard. Most people will have quit by that point because they'll say, I can't do this anymore. How does somebody subscribe to my newsletter? Just go to readysetcrypto.ONE. Or if you're lazy, just go to readysetcrypto.com and it'll eventually send you to the right place. ReadySetCrypto.ONE is our new service. It's more better. It's tighter, it's more better, it's better. Okay, so let's get into some of your coins. And so let me know what currency pairs. Don't throw out the project name because I may not know it and I'll have to go hunt for it. So if you just give me the actual ticker symbol, that makes it more better. Okay, so the first request I got was from Entheosapien to go look at Brett. And I'm not familiar with this one, but I'll go find it. So let's go find Brett, unless that's your name. All right, here's Brett USDT. Okay, so looking at this one on the daily chart, this one did get a nice move. However, it's in a flag. So what I would say is the simple thing to do here is just give yourself a filter. Wait for this yellow line to be broken, and then you can jump back into Brett. Okay, so that's Brett. And that's for Entheosapien from Brooklyn. When have I been to Brooklyn? I used to go through Brooklyn going to LaGuardia. I used to get a car service because our office was around 120 Broadway, right off of Wall Street, right around the corner. So I'd get a car service to go across the Brooklyn Bridge and eventually to LaGuardia. I can't believe we made it there. But that was a long time ago. Okay. Let's go to the obvious. Solana. Solana is, I would say, probably the best setup amongst the majors for what could be a huge move. I think Solana is set up really well. Let me go to the RSI Laguerre here and let's look at it from an energy perspective. So we're going to go from the top down. We're going to start at the monthly chart. Monthly, Solana looks really good. So this is what's called a cup with handle pattern. Cup with handle pattern. So what you do is you take the neckline, you measure the distance from the neckline to the bottom of this. So we can do this. We have the skills, we have the tools. And so let's draw a neckline in here and let's come up with a measured move for Solana. Okay, so let's do this again. Let's go from here up to here. And let's give it a different color, and let's make this wider. So that's going to be our measured move for Solana. And what we're going to do is we're going to append this to the top of the neckline. And what is our target for Solana? It is up here at about 420. How's that? How's that grab you? So our target for Solana would be 420 from a breakout. It's not going to get there all at once. It will get there in stages if and when it breaks out. But this is a fairly reliable pattern, a cup with handle like this. And so what happens is the price gets back up to the former trend line, and then it consolidates for a while because it took so much energy. It was exhausted by the time it got up to the trend line, and so it consolidates, and this is a huge amount of energy. Looks really, really good. So if you're looking for a coin to DCA into, probably Solana is really, really good choice right now. Behind, yeah, Doc loves some cup with handles. I do. They are very reliable. I mean, you can see this in the, we've got, I'm just going to go out to an index here. Let's go out to the SPX. And look at this. This is a cup with handle, guys. Cup with handle. So let me get rid of the fibs. Oh, shoot. So what I did was I got rid of the cup with handle. But this is the same thing. Look at this. And it's the same process of doing this. All right, so there's our upper target for the S&P 500, which is about 5,800. We're almost there. We've almost hit that target. I think we get one more shot to the upside, and then all hell's going to break loose. But right now on the monthly chart, this is in exhaustion and needs a little bit more oomph to hit that. So for those of you into the larger markets, cup with handles are everywhere. Okay, for Matt, let's go look at Litecoin. So let's get away from this stock stuff. Let's go over to Litecoin. And Litecoin, boy, I've got to look way down the list to go find Litecoin. Remember when Litecoin was number 3? What happened? What happened to Litecoin? Litecoin used to be the bronze medal. Haven't you noticed that? Like this time around, this particular cycle, all of the OG coins that were really part of the top 20, I'm talking like XLM, Stellar Lumens. Where is it? Where Ripple is still in the top 5, but hasn't gone anywhere in all that time. So a lot of these OG coins are just disappearing, are going to fall off the edge of the cliff. So Litecoin right now, quite honestly, looks terrible. Now, that's not to say that it can't, if somehow we get ETFs in Litecoin or there's something else that happens to it. But man, this is just a terrible looking chart. Just gone nowhere since 2021. Okay, so the next one, let's for T. Butterman, let's go look at Ethereum. And Ethereum is also not done quite as well. So for those of you that are expecting the flippening, ain't no flippening happening right now with Ethereum. Ethereum is just really got hit hard during the yen carry trade panic. It's not to say that it can't recover, but it's nowhere near as strong as Big Brother BTC. Just not quite there yet. So it could still do well. It's still number two, but at some point, Solana is going to beat it in market cap unless it is able to recover this. Okay, math, Bitcoin mining stocks. So we're going to look at Core Z and BitF. We're going to look at Core Z and BitF. Core Scientific. Okay, so that's a daily chart. So it's sort of got a pseudo looking Bitcoin look to it here. So we've got our little panic bottom. What I would do is I would look for, you can do the same thing with the Darvis box here, that the bottom of this is about 825, the top of this is 1050, should break to the upside. If it breaks to the downside, that's bearish unless it sets up a higher low. But notice the volume down there on the panic. So it's an okay looking chart, but hasn't gone anywhere. And this is reflective of what's happened with crypto for the past 5 months. So we're also going to look at BitF. BitF has got basically the same looking chart. Same looking chart. And let's go out to a longer time chart, longer time frame chart. And BitF is kind of reflective of an altcoin. It looks like an altcoin because of all the big highs here in 2021, and it's just not anywhere near that. So I would want to see this thing start breaking about $4 before I start to look at this one. Paul, where's the other half? He's out in SFO now. Traveling the world, having a great time. I do miss having him on here. He is much smarter than I am. I'm an idiot savant. I just look at charts. Okay, Festi, let's go look at Near Protocol. I know it's in here somewhere. Yeah, I'm going to have to cheat and just type it in. Near is another one of those that was doing really, really well for a while and has not kept up. So this is Near Protocol. This is on a monthly chart, and monthly chart, while Bitcoin is consolidating, this is the point here, guys. Well, Bitcoin is consolidating up near the highs in a 5-month-long consolidation. Here's Near Protocol rolling around in the gutter with all the rest of the altcoins. So that's the problem right now, is that there's just no interest. There is no investor interest in these things. People don't know why they are supposed to put money into them. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so the next one is Seb. We're going to look at PERP. PERP USD, Perpetual Protocol. Oh boy, that doesn't look good. You know, whenever I see a coin or an asset that just jumps around in value like this one. So let's just go out to a price and volume chart. Look at this. I mean, there's just no trading activity here. So there's only, I mean, if we were to go out to like a 12-minute chart, there's no volume. There's no activity. There's no linearity to the price movement. So I avoid these things like the plague because they tend to be a roach motel. Traders check in, they don't check out. That's what a roach motel is. You put your capital in, you don't get it back out. So that's PERP. Let's look at ZIG. ZigCoin. And ZigCoin, surprisingly, is a very nice looking chart. That's a very nice looking chart. If we go out to the weekly chart, This is building a base. This is that long cup with handles sort of thing. This is very common where we have the initial coin offering or the initial listing on some exchange. We get the thing to pump. Some idiots doing a pump and dump on X, and people follow them. Did you guys see the X space the other day that Elon did? And they had technical problems for 45 minutes. And so I went out to YouTube and I was like, well, somebody's got to be, I thought it was me and I thought I couldn't get logged in. So I went out to YouTube and I was like, well, somebody's got to be, bouncing this out to YouTube. There was all these fake YouTube AI generated Elon giving an interview, voice didn't match the screen at all. Just click on just scan the QR code on here. And, basically it was a scam to get your wallet. Unbelievable. Okay. So that's Zig. So this is just a big basing pattern here, and it's got to get above 15 cents. So it's going to consolidate. It's kind of like a cup with handle. And so measure move target is up here at about 25 cents. Pendle. Let's look at Pendle. Okay, Pendle has not been doing well lately. So this is the weekly chart. You can see this is making lower lows, lower highs. This looks like every other altcoin right now. Into a death cross. It's not to say that it can't go higher later on, but right now is not a time to be trying to dollar cost average into this thing. Make sure you prove it. Make your asset prove it to you that it deserves your capital. Let's see, Hash AI. Also kind of the same thing. The initial coin offering, big bump out here. And then since then, nothing to the downside. Again, this is not my opinion. This is what the price is telling me. Render protocol. What's going on with Render? Same kind of thing, right? If you ever have a doubt about what's going on, zoom out to the weekly chart. What's happening with the trend on the weekly chart? It was doing higher highs and higher lows. Now what it's doing is higher low, lower high, lower low. It's in a weekly downtrend. Stay away from these until they finish bottoming. So that's Render protocol. Let's look at Cardano. Cardano is still part of the top 10 somehow. I don't know why, because the trend is awful on this thing. It just cannot get out of its own way. It tried making it was briefly looking good this spring, late winter, and then has since failed miserably. So again, it's well below the moving averages. I would avoid this one until it wakes up. Okay, Paul, let's look at World Mobile Token, the Walmart of tokens. Also on a weekly chart, this is transitioned into a downtrend as well too. Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but just about every coin that's not part of the majors is going to be in a serious downtrend right now, with very few exceptions. We did see, which one was that? Hash AI was doing pretty well. I think that was the one. Flyover. Hey, Flyover. Let's see. What is my outlook on Caspa? Let's look at Caspa. This is actually good. So look at weekly chart. This is showing higher highs and higher lows. That's what we're looking for. It's above the moving averages. If we go out to the monthly chart, it's generally in an uptrend. Now, you're going to see volatility. We're going to see all kinds of volatility on this. We did see a brief flirt below the 200-day moving average, but here's a great example of, here's death cross back up to a golden cross, psych. And this one actually looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. So do be careful of this setting up a lower high, lower low though right now, but Caspa is one of the better ones. XRP. I wonder if Digibyte Barry has joined us today. Barry used to join us every week and I think he was hoping that the more he requested a review on the coin, the better that it would do. It's kind of like going in an elevator and pressing the button. The faster that you press it, the quicker that it goes. So XRP is in this great, big, enormous, massive, huge triangle pattern right now. It cannot get out of its own way. So until this thing gets out of this triangle, it's right in the apex, and it should be like squeezing an orange pit, but it just has been unable to move. Now it's been hamstrung by litigation with the SEC. Is it an asset, or not? Or is it a currency? Who knows? But that's a battle that needs to be won. Let's see, Bart, would I be able to take a look at SC coin? Absolutely. Is that, I'm assuming you're talking about SIA coin here. Ooh, it's another bad one. It's another bad one, guys. It's below the averages. That's a daily chart. It's not on a weekly uptrend. Can tell you that. Like I said, everything below the top 5 is going to look terrible right now. Now, 5 months from now, we may have a completely different discussion. Okay, Tron then. TRX. Actually, Tron has been one of the better looking charts in quite some time. Tron has been, this is a good example of Tron was one of the OG coins that never did anything. Everybody just laughed at it for the longest time because it was just, 5 cents or 1 penny or, less than that. And has actually done a great job. This is exactly what I'm talking about here. So this is a weekly chart. So here's a chart that looks terrible. And then what it starts to do is it builds out a base, and then it starts to make higher highs and higher lows. This is what I want you guys to wait for. I want you to invest in assets that are going higher in price, right? Don't paddle upstream. Put your kayak in at the top of the river and paddle downstream, right? In this case, it's easier for things to go up if you're going along with the current. So can you dollar cost average while it's in the downtrend? Yes, but that assumes that it is eventually at some point going to turn around. And that these days, I think, maybe not so much in 2018, maybe not so much in 2021. But I'm telling you, this is going to become more and more important. Investors are going to become more and more discerning. I saw the same exact thing happen back in 1999. Pets.com blown up. All these other .com companies that were based on nothing but thin air and an idea and a .com suffix on their domain name blew up. The same thing is happening here in crypto. So all these garbage ICOs are just going to disappear at some point. Unless somebody can find a way to pump them in social media, they're just going to disappear. Okay, let's see. Michael, my views on DXY interest you. I don't know. I can't really. Probably what's going to happen is they're probably going to destroy the dollar. More than likely, they're going to destroy the. Looking at this technically, Michael, or I'm sorry, Michelle. I cannot look at this technically and judge anything at all on this. All I can say is it's in a longer term downtrend, but a shorter term, longer term uptrend, shorter term downtrend. Shorter term downtrend. So I would say probably what's going to happen is regardless of whoever gets in office in November, they're going to crush, kill, and destroy the US dollar through either more printing or whatever that they do. So who knows? Unless there's a worldwide disaster, and then they're going to come running back into the dollar as a safe harbor. But if everything is relatively stable around the world, this will continue going lower. All right, Seb, let's look at Pepe. Let's get a better view on Pepe. Let's get back to crypto here. Pepe was really good. This was charting really, really well for a while, and it's recently just got kind of weak. So that's a lower high, lower low on the weekly chart. That's not particularly good. So it may have had its run, right? So during corrective markets, alts that rise up are just like a whack-a-mole, right? Bam! Anything that rises up is like a whack-a-mole. You beat it down because the rest of the market's not going higher. So anything that has the arrogance and temerity to rally in the face of a corrective market gets whack-a-moled. And it looks like Pepe has been through that now. Let's see. Dave is asking about, in your view, what would be some obvious common red flags when following these guys? I don't know. I don't really follow anybody else, and that's on purpose. It's not because I'm not interested, but I don't want to be colored by somebody else's opinion. The human brain is very, very easily cognitively biased. What happens is you pick up a bias, and then what happens is your reticular activating system and your amygdala will actually tell your senses to go look for something. Have you guys ever taken an interest in a certain type of car, and then all of a sudden you notice that that's all you see? You see them everywhere. You see them everywhere. That's because you've told your reticular activating system to look for a certain thing. So if somebody gives me a market opinion that I like and I respect, then I will internalize that. I will tell my reticular activating system to go find that information, only the information that aligns with that. I will ignore everything else. Have you ever noticed that two people that have an auto accident that meet each other in the middle of an intersection will have completely different stories about what happened? That is due to the reticular activating system. You are going to see what you think you want to see. And you will tell everybody up and down, this is what happened. That's why these dash cams are so important. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, what I would say is anybody that's doing TA that's out there, if you're doing TA based on some studies like, stochastics or MACDs or this or that, anybody that's worth their salt is looking at things based on price. So price is one of those, it's the most elemental thing. And if somebody can't read price alone, just the price trends, they haven't been around long enough. They haven't gotten their fingers dirtied by trading trailing indicators. Okay, just a few more here, and then I'll send you guys on your way. Okay, let's see. Appreciate. Okay. And looks like if I've missed anybody, please let me know. If I've missed anybody, please let me know. Because I'm trying to read through this thing, and there's a lot going on here. So thank you guys for all of your great questions and everything like that. So it looks like our last one for today is going to be XMR, Monero. So Monero was one of our OGs, right? Monero was an OG coin that's been around forever. I don't like this one. Let's go with the spot. Why can't we find the spot? There we go. There's the spot. Okay, so you can see this one was a great, privacy coin, OG. This thing was awesome. Pretty much follows Bitcoin. 2021, everything is looking good. Lately, this has been making some noise. So we'd given this one up for dead. at the beginning of the year, and I don't recall what happened, but we gave it up for dead at the beginning of the year. It's made a pretty nice recovery, but it needs to keep working on that. So it's made a nice move. It's basing out. So what I would say is watch for this descending trend line to break to the upside, and that may be your entry back into Monero. What do I think of the privacy coin and its longevity? I don't know. Again, I'm not the guy to ask about the fundamentals of these things. Mav was so good at that. I just look at the price. That's all I look at. I honestly don't want to know anything else about it, because to me, the price encapsulates everything known about an asset. Everything. The fundamentals, the management team, the profit and loss, the earnings behind it, the potential revenue, the business plan, everything that's baked into how something operates is reflected in the price. To this very second, it is the most efficient market in the world. And so you don't really need to know about, the market will tell you what it thinks about something. If the bid is rising, then that's what we want to look for. Okay, well, guys, I wanted to thank you for joining me here today. I know I don't do these often enough, and I should do more of them, but I appreciate you checking in. I think we're very close. Be patient. Watch the price levels. Literally almost come into the market every day and say, if the price gets above this level, hang in there, because this does not look like a bearish consolidation. This looks like a bullish consolidation, which should resolve to the upside. It will outlast most people. Most people give up before this thing finally breaks. And when it breaks, nobody will believe it. They will not be on board for this thing. And there's no greater pain in trading than to be on a sideline watching a market rip and you're not involved with it. And when you finally gather the courage to jump on board will typically be the top. Thanks, everybody. You guys have a great Wednesday, a great week, and I will talk to you guys later. Adios.